Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us once again at AO Finance. I had a off week last week. I was taking a little bit of a much needed vacation, just relaxing, just taking a little bit of time off. And I'm just gonna go right here to some updates over the last couple of weeks. I really haven't been posting too much because I've been a little bit busy, but just wanted to mention that China has been dumping a tremendous amount of U.S. Treasuries. Uh, Most people think that Japan is the one that owns the most amount of bonds, but it's actually China. Japan is right behind. And foreigners have been dumping U.S. securities. I'm going to get to that a little bit later on. Well, then again, it mentions that I have my mini vacay. And there is something interesting on my page. It's a post, Why Charts and Sentiment. And just in case, aofinance.blogspot.com. If you look at the Why Charts and Sentiment, it shows three of each why I like charts and why I choose sentiment. And if you go back to my home page real quickly here, I should have went there first. There is also a little bit more information, and it's a little different than what I posted on the other side. So on that news, I'm just going to get back in. I'm just going to get into the market situation. The first one is, I'm using Windows 7, by the way. Okay. And the first thing that I want you to notice is that a couple of weeks ago, about 2 weeks ago, I mentioned that gold was looking pretty good. It was going to hit about the 120 range. It went to as high as 120.99, which was, I was off about a point. At right that point, it formed a doji, and it seems like it's pulling back a little bit. This is the trend. This is right here. This is a short-term trend where it's at right now. There is a small amount of negative divergence forming. As you can see it right around here. The volume is a little tough to dictate because it's been pretty much even healed. And you also see the RSI pulling back under 70. There's a tiny amount of it pulling back here, but obviously the market's been pulling back. So right here it's a little difficult to dictate more or less what it's going to do. So I'm just going to leave it at that. I just wanted to point it out that what I had mentioned before came into fruition. Now the dollar had a really bad downtrend, intermediate or short term if you want to call it that. It finally broke it sometime last week. I had mentioned that 82 was a chance to give it a shot, worst case scenario $2, and it pulled back. And then when it was 80, I said, you know what, this is definitely a good sign. Things are starting to look around, and lo and behold, it went from 80, right around 80, to about 83. It's at a very important point right now. And as you can see it right here, it looks like it wants to keep going. This is a very decent sign right here. It's crossing over again. The RSI looks pretty decent, and the MACD is not showing any signs of wear and tear. So chances are, if it breaks this 83-ish level, it's right around there, you're looking at you're looking at a nice little move. So you're probably looking at another 2 points or so. So again, 82 points on an $80 or 80 plus vehicle is not a lot, but when it comes to currencies, it is a pretty decent amount. Now, going back to the Dow, if it was a little bit hard to dictate, but it started trading flat. I did mention that the indicators were showing a little bit of divergence, as we can see it here, and here. And then I noticed that, and I also saw that the RSI was starting to pull back a little bit, so there was signs of weakness. Obviously here, it's a little bit too late. Obviously, it pulled back. But even here, we're starting to see a little bit of volume. Could we have seen the capitulation that was needed? It's a little tough to call right now. I don't see any signs of the market turning around. As you can see, the average is still going lower, still going lower. So personally, I would wait until we should start seeing a little bit more life. And chances are this is probably the next level, the 10,000 level. So I'd be a little bit cautious. I'm being bullish right now. The NASDAQ is starting to show a little bit of life. As we can see here, it's inverse head and shoulders pattern. Here's the head, here are the shoulders, here are the shoulders, and as you can see it here, left shoulder, right shoulder. Now, the one thing that I do want you to notice is that the volume, the NASDAQ did show signs of weakness. As you can see, I said things were looking okay. I did notice the negative divergence, but we also saw the volume on the negative side somewhat slightly tick in, and as the market was going up, or I should say the Nasdaq 100 was going up, this thing was pulling back. So that's a definite sign. And there were signs. I also mentioned that there were signs that the market was looking to pull back. So it's a little tough to dictate here. The Nasdaq 1800 level is very important. If it breaks that, you're looking at 1775. It could stay here. However, this inverse head and shoulders pattern is a nice little sign, but again, until it breaks, you really can't go full long or full short range. It's a little tough to go either way. And I did mention that the inverse head and shoulders in the Dow, and it had a nice little run. I don't think that I'm not going to say wherever, but I don't think we're going to see these, going back to 14. 11.2 is probably going to be a little bit tough for the short term. I don't think we're going to see 11.12 for some time. But that's it for this week. Keep the comments coming in. Thank you very much. I've been asked various times for individual stock. I don't have the time to get into individual stock right now. I'm not full bull. I'm a little bit more bearish than bull, but we are showing signs that we could be again at a similar short. But I wouldn't say yet. But again, there are signs that we could be turning around, but it may not happen till November. Like I said a while ago, there are signs that we're preparing for a big rally, but I don't think it's going to be this time soon. I did mention that August was probably going to be month, and right now the Dow is off 2%, Nasdaq and S&P is off 4%. So on that note, keep an eye on the volume, keep an eye on the indicators, check my page from time to time, forward it, pass it to other people. I appreciate it, and thank you very much for listening to AO Finance this week. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye. Well, actually, have a great week. Enjoy your trading.